Well, hello everybody. I finally got on. I don't know, everything about this new Facebook thing is a little bit different. And I apologize for my tardiness, but it would not give me the window to get on. So we're going to see if we can catch up here with the Frights and Delights lever card kit. So we're going to start with the inside. Now, I've done this card many times, and this is the version that I prepared for the work along today because I wanted to leave plenty of room here for you to personalize your card. This actually is a version that I personally like a little bit better, but you can see if you were going to send this to somebody, there's not a lot of room for personalization. Now, I'm not sure what Carol and Brian are going to want me to do since I'm getting a late start here, but we're gonna get as far as we can as quickly as we can. So we're going to start, first of all, you want to work on your card before you fold it. You already have the score lines that are going to give you a little bit of trouble, and so you want to have as little creasing and what have you as possible. So the first thing we're going to do, you've got the die cut right here, and you can see that. You want to stamp the mansion so that when you close the card, you can see it on the outside, and when it's open, you see it like this. So you want to press really firmly without rocking. And it's not the best stamped image I've ever had, but for the purposes of the work along, it's going to have to be okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to create our horizon line. Now, when you purchase this kit, you get all of the stamps that go along with it, plus you have some that we didn't even use on the kit. So what you're going to do is you're going to ink this. We're going to throw a mask on our mansion, and if you're not familiar with masks and masking, I can help you with that later. But we're going to begin to build our horizon line. Going to stamp this again. And we want a little piece over here too. So we're going to ink this again. And we're going to stamp this again. So now we've got our horizon line. When you buy the kit, I actually provide some eclipse tape for you to use for your masks. When we do this, we put the eclipse tape on the back of some cardstock strips. We do this because if I didn't leave this slit and you stamped it, you would have a really hard time separating the backing from the eclipse tape, and if you didn't have an X-Acto knife or good fingernails, you simply wouldn't be able to do it. So what we recommend is that you stamp your image and then you cut that piece of the eclipse tape off so that you have tabs, and you can very easily take the backing strip off of your mask. So when it was time to do the mask for the horizon line, this is what that image looks like. I stamped it twice, and I kept both the top and the bottom portion of the mask. And the reason for that is you're actually going to use both pieces independently. So for instance, we're going to put this here when it's time to tuck the grasses and the trees behind it, but we're going to save the other piece for when it's time to work below it. And we're going to take the other one and we're going to put it, let's see, right here. All right. Now we've got the mansion masked, we've got our horizon line masked, but we don't want to have any chance of getting ink down below. So what I usually do is take a paper towel and just lay across here so I don't accidentally get something below it. Now here's our tree, our bare branch tree. So we're going to ink this up. And we want to tuck some of this behind the mansion. So you stamp right over that mask. Press firmly without rocking. And there you have it. Now, if you remember, I have smaller bushes and trees here too. That is the same image. Oh, Sandy, I see you're asking what stamp is a horizontal line. That's part of the stamp set that comes with the kit. It is specific to this kit. If you had to use something else, you could use our stamp that I think is called Earth, Sand, or Snow. It's different, but it's similar and it would work. Okay, so now by stamping that a little bit lower, we have that looking a little more like a bush. Now this grass pattern also comes in the kit. So we're going to ink this up. And we're going to tuck some grass here at the bottom of the trees. And we're going to bring some on across. And you can put as much or as little of this sort of thing on there. You build your landscape. Let's see. I got to be mindful of my time. Before we start doing our coloring, we need to create our moon. Now this is simply a circle of eclipse tape. It's one that I've used before, which, because it's got a little bit of ink on it, it enables you to see it a little bit better. You can see where we're headed with this. So we put our mask on, and we're going to begin our stippling. Now, this is the kind of stipple brush that you want to use. I know that there are brushes on the market being sold as stipple brushes that aren't going to work. You want the long, not totally blunt cut bristles, and that is going to work the best. So we're going to start out with our robin's egg blue, and we're going to pick up some ink, and we're going to begin to stipple. Now remember, we still have our masks on here, so that's going to divide our card. So we're going to begin to stipple, and when I stipple, I do a combination of tapping and swirling. I like to have a little lighter shade of blue around my moon, because if it was casting moonlight, it would, you'd have a little bit of a glow. Now, as you begin to build up the ink saturation on your paper, you'll eventually be able to do a little bit of swirling, and it will smooth out the ink coverage, and you won't see so many of the dots. Now, some people like to see the dots. And if you're one of those people, then, you know, don't swirl. But I tend to like mine smoothed out just a little bit. And so this is our lightest blue. This is our robin's egg blue. We're going to make sure that we get it down to the horizon line. Now, if time wasn't an issue, I would lay down a foundation of this robin's egg blue before I transition to my next shade of blue. The next shade of blue is a medium blue. It is our Yorktown blue. And we're gonna go back. Now, I didn't mask this, so I'm gonna put a little piece of mask here, so that when I get over there, I don't accidentally go across the line there either. So this is the Yorktown blue. It's a little bit darker, and we are going to get this on here. And I'm gonna do a combination of tapping and swirling because I like to smooth those dots out a little bit. Now, as you come over to the light blue, you have a transition area. You have a transition area where the two shades overlap each other, and you want it to blend, but you don't want to obliterate it. So, building up the medium blue here. And as we move over into the lighter blue, and I'm going to swirl. I'm going to swirl some more. And again, if we weren't on some time constraints, if I hadn't had trouble getting started here, I would work a little bit harder at this. The next blue is our dark blue, which we call midnight blue. And I'm going to pick some of it up, and you're going to see that it's going to deepen it. I'm never sure how much of the color gradations you can see when I broadcast. I do know that the lights and what have you that I use do tend to wash them out a little bit, but I hope you can see this good enough to get an idea what I'm doing. At this point, you can see that this is much lighter, this is medium, this is dark, but when we're done, that's going to blend seamlessly. So we are tapping and we are swirling, and we are tapping and we are swirling, and at some point, if you have shadow areas that you want even deeper, you can always go in and you can add a little bit of gray or black. I want just a little bit of dark down here. The other thing is when you're working on any project, you always want to use your lighter colors as your transition colors or your blending colors. And so at some point I can go all the way back to my robin's egg blue and my robin's egg blue brush, and I can come back here and I can work on this area again to help transition that more smoothly. And it is coming along okay. And I am almost out of time. If Carol or Brian could tell me what they want me to do about this, I will be happy to do it. What you're going to do to finish this top part off is you're going to pull this off. We're going to go back to our original tree image, and we are going to add some branches that come down across the moon. So we can bring them down like this to kind of help frame it. I'm going to lay this back on here. I'm going to come along here and bring some up here. And you can do as much landscaping or as little landscaping as you want on these. That's part of why they're so much fun. Of course, we want some bats. So we're going to... Now remember, all of these images are included in the kit. Eclipse tape, a small amount for this project, is included in the kit. There is a bat. There are actually 3 sizes of bats that are included in the kit. And I am really almost out of time. And you can come over here and you can add some bats. And here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. I have much more to do on this project. I would like to finish it for you at some point, but I know that at 2:30 it is somebody else's time slot. So I will get with Carol and Brian and I will see what they want me to do. If I cannot finish it here on the group, hook up with me afterwards and I will finish it for you in my own private group. I really apologize. We do have a show special going on. Our discount code is Fright 2020. It will give you 20% off of the Making a Scene stamps, kits, and inks. It is good through October 15th. The website is www.peddlersden.com. And thank you for joining me. Goodbye now.